Hi, I'm Weston. I love talking about the Rangers, and I'm here to talk about Game 6 of the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs, where the Rangers win 5-2 over the Carolina Hurricanes, and we're going to Game 7. After a back-breaking loss in Game 5, the Rangers in Game 6, while facing elimination, have one of their best offensive games of the postseason, and an absolute gem by Igor Shesterkin. And they have forced Game 7 on Monday night. So there's a lot to talk about. There are 7 goals. All of them happened with a goalie in net. There's also just a lot of stuff to talk about with this game, so let's get into it quickly, starting with going into the game. About an hour or two before the game starts, news comes in that Barclay Goodrow, who had a bad ankle injury, was walking into the stadium without a boot on. And at face value, you see that and go, oh, well, that's a positive. That's good. You know, maybe if you make it to the third round, or boy, if you were to somehow make it to the Cup final, maybe he'd be back. And then more news breaks. He's on the ice practicing. And I didn't see a single thing leading up into this game before that said he might be back. He just appeared without the boot and played in the game. And you could just feel Barclay Goodrow on the ice. You could feel a change in the entire team. The entire atmosphere changed with him in the lineup versus him not in the lineup. Because, yeah, he is a grinder on the lower lines, and he's going to hit a lot. But he has enough of an offensive touch that he changes the dynamic of the fourth line, and you could tell that. He didn't make a difference on the score sheet per se, but his presence was there. No, so dude, bro, he didn't score a goal or get a point, but he was just he was the vibe, you know? I don't own a beanie. And if you want any more evidence to this, his line gets on the board first. The fourth line would score the first goal. Tyler Mott getting his first goal that wasn't an empty netter and wasn't on accident. It's in our defensive zone. We try to play it out. The Canes play it back in, and then Tyler Mott grabs it and carries from our defensive zone through the neutral zone into the offensive zone, gets a little shot off. I think he was shooting for a rebound, but it just trickled through Antti Ranta, and the Rangers are on the board first, 1-0, about 7 minutes into the first period. A little bit later on in the first period, Brendan Smith takes a high-sticking call on Alexis Lafreniere, and the Rangers are on a power play. The puck is played into our defensive zone where Igor Shesterkin, who we're going to talk a lot about later on, just gets the puck and hands it to Adam Fox. Fox carries into the neutral zone, gives it to Mika Zibanejad, who walks Brady Shea and Brett Pesce like a couple of dogs and scores a gorgeous goal. The 4th consecutive game with a goal for Mika Zibanejad. He's been massive in this series, and again, another massive goal in this one. And the Rangers take a 2-0 lead on the power play. So you leave the first period up 2-0, and that is not indicative on how we played. Offensively, we looked great. That's not the question tonight. Offensively, we were fantastic. The problem with the defense, we gave up so many good scoring chances in the first period, throughout the entire game, really. Igor Shesterkin played, I would say, the best period of hockey in his life, at least to this point that I have seen, in the first period tonight. He was magnificent and bailed us out with so many great saves, including a few right before the Mott goal, that prevented them from having a center ice face-off. He was magnificent. So you go into the second period with a 2-0 lead that you would make a 3-0 lead. Adam Fox in our defensive zone gets the puck, puts it on a stick out of the air, and hands it to Filipino. Filipino, who had just seconds before whiffed on a 2-on-1 with him and Alexis Lafreniere. Hedl carries in again this time, and this one he did not miss. A very nice snipe, but not even the best goal of Philip Hedl's evening. But a pretty darn nice shot to put the Rangers up 3-0. But about a minute and a half later, the Canes have it. They carry into the offensive zone. Brady Shea has it. He puts kind of a weak shot on net, but there is a massive screen in front of Shesterkin, partially our own guys, and it goes in. He clearly could not see a bit of this puck. This one's not on him. Neither of the goals were really Shesterkin's fault. We're going to talk about the other one in a bit. But this one was just a massive screen by a Kane and a couple of Rangers. It sneaks in and it's 3-1, but you still, even when both of the Canes goals were scored, I never felt like it was in danger. The Rangers felt offensively in the driver's seat. And even if the defense continued to melt down the way it was and give up these chances, I just saw the offense continue to roll, and I figured Shesterkin would do the same, which both did. Because again, about a minute and a half later, it's in the offensive zone. Laffy gives it to Philip Hedl, who puts the nastiest backhanded goal of the Rangers season. It was a thing of beauty. He put that on a bullseye in the top corner of that net. It was filthy, and the Rangers take a 4-1 lead. Then we travel a little over halfway in the second period. Canes have it in our zone, and Vincent Trocheck puts a shot on net that somehow trickles in, and you go, wow, that's weird. How did that go in? Ryan! How does it keep happening? Ryan Lindgren, in his career, has scored 9 goals. Weston, his hockey reference page says 6. He's scored 3 on us! Last season, in one of the first few games of the year, he literally picked the puck up while sitting in the crease with Shesterkin and threw it past him into the net for a goal. He tipped in the game winner in overtime in game 1 of this series, and this one just ricocheted off of his shin. Like, Lindy, I get that you want to be helpful. You're not the goaltender. Stay out of the crease. I don't know what they do in Minnesota. I don't know who didn't tell Ryan when he was like 4, hey, you don't score on your own net, but that message has not gotten to him. So for the rest of the second and for much of the third, the action sort of died down. Most of it would come in the form of dumb penalties, because the Canes were very frustrated, and oh my good lord, you could tell. To me, the worst 2 penalties for the Canes were the last 2. The Tony DeAngelo penalty of unsportsmanlike conduct was just, like, dude, give your head a shake. Not the time. Also, the Sebastian Aho penalty was very strange to me. Sebastian Aho is not a big guy and not particularly physical. I don't know why small Canes players have decided they want to open the doors with players like Trouba and Reeves, but for some reason they continue to try to open those doors, and thank your lucky stars the refs do not allow you to open them fully. But those are the penalties. The Rangers on another power play in the third period. It would be 5-on-3 for a few seconds, and Artemi Panarin, a very, very nice shot. Now, yeah, it was 5-on-3, and you know, in the game that you already were leading by 2 and was kind of over with, but that's beautiful shot by Artemi Panarin. And I mean, Panarin's not been great in this series. He hasn't particularly been great in the playoffs, so anything to get him rolling. I will say, I noticed after that goal, he played with a little bit more swagger, so hopefully that gets him rolling into Game 7. And that was about it for the rest of the game. Reeves really wanted to dance after the game was over with, and the refs had to physically restrain Reeves from going at it, which was kind of funny. So I'm going to talk about the offense and then talk about the masterpiece of the evening. Offensively, we looked really good. The power play was rolling. We scored 2 goals on the power play. The first line looked pretty darn solid. Specifically, Mika was skating like a maniac, which he has done this whole series. He's been great. The third line and the fourth line really is what shined to me, because with Barclay Goodrow back in the lineup, you can put Kakko back on the kids line, and that line looks great. Go figure, putting them back together, they were fantastic. Continue to just be the best line, putting the most offensive pressure on because reasons, I don't know. But man, the fourth line looked great. They had quite a few solid chances. They were super physical. Like, that is everything you want in a fourth line, and Goodrow coming back added to the team. You can't deny the fact that he made the team look better. Defensively, we were checks notes. A tire fire. Big surprise. Yeah, 39 shots against. Shesterkin bailed us out. And let's talk about let's talk about Igor Shesterkin, because he was the full story tonight. He was it's Igor Shesterkin's world, and we are simply living in it. Igor had probably a few of his best career saves tonight. I would debate one of the best games of his career, maybe the best game of his career. Had a pair of assists for a multi-point evening in it. And in the second period, absolutely dumped Seth Jarvis on his ass. You can go back and look at that penalty. Shesterkin just decided to throw a hit. The man had an evening. He decided to be the goaltender, the playmaker, and his own defenseman because it's Shesterkin's world and we're living in it. Igor Shesterkin woke up this morning, rolled out of bed, walked to the bathroom mirror and said, "I choose violence." There were so many great saves. I think the best one was the pad stop and then the perfect glove placement on the rebound to rob a goal from the Canes. Like, he was unreal! And so with all of that being said, here we are. We are in the same boat that we were after Game 6 of the Penn series. Game 7 stares us down the barrel. And we know what not to do. We are being asked to do in a Game 7 what teams haven't been able to do the past 7 times in Carolina's home barn. That being said, you want to win? Figure it out. Yeah, I know that's not a technical thing of advice. That's just sort of stating the obvious. I don't know. We did things right in games 3, 4, and 6. Try to figure out what was right other than the atmosphere and take that into game 7. You have the momentum. You have the underdog mentality. You have the thought of, like, the last time we were in a game 7, we figured it out. Figure it out! The only advice I can give, which is sort of just obvious information, is stay out of the box and goat them into penalties. Your power play is fantastic. You clearly know how to get their goat and make them take stupid penalties. If you can do that, we might have a date with Tampa. And so I'll leave you with 2 things that make me feel somewhat confident going into Game 7, that we can potentially take the series. 1, we were able to blow them out in a couple of games at MSG, whereas they weren't able to, on the scoreboard at least, blow us out in Carolina. They had a 2-goal win in Game 5, and that was their big victory. The 2-0 game also was kind of an asterisk. It was 1-0. The second goal came on the empty net with like 3 seconds left. So your goaltender is good enough, because clearly the defense isn't, but your goaltender and offense are good enough to keep you in the games. Your offense can do it, and the second thing is we have Shesterkin and they don't. And I know that's not really analytical, that's just, it's stating the obvious. Shesterkin tonight had debatably the best game of his career. Certainly the best win, I would say. You might be able to debate game 1 of the Penn series as his best because of just how many saves he made and how long he went in that game. But if you're looking for a genuine win, this was his best game, and he stole it for you. Yeah, it's daunting to look down the barrel and see that you have to go into a place where the Canes are 7-0 this postseason in an elimination game, winner-take-all game 7, and figure out a way to win it. But I don't know. I feel hopeful, but scared going into Game 7. It's Monday, 8 o'clock Eastern, and I'll be here afterwards to either celebrate a Eastern Conference Finals appearance or cry. One or the other. But I'll be here. So that's all I have to say for the evening. Thank you all so very much for watching. Hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day. And as always, go Rangers.